The views and opinions expressed on The Big Llama Show are those of the host and guest. They do not reflect that of our sponsors, advertisers, or employers. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's SINA. She ruckus. Dead beat. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. You ain't a killer, boy. Stop. I hear you yelling stacks on deck.
Everybody, welcome to The Big Llama Show. I'm The Big Llama. I'm here with Mama Llama, and we're doing a special back to school episode. Now, this episode is going to be broadcast live at 9 a.m. and it's going to be live on our streaming services, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Unfortunately, we won't be able to interact, so if you're watching this live, do hit us up in the comments. We just won't be able to respond. But again, we wanted to make sure that we do this on a live stream because Mama Llama is going right back to school, and we cannot wait to get into talking about getting back to school. So let's get right into it. Mama Llama is in the house. Wanted to interview her because she is a school teacher and is getting ready to go back to school. You may know Mama Llama from Wrigley Roo Designs. She does all the custom shirts for the Big Llama Show. She's not here to plug that. She really is just here because I wanted to interview her and get her perspective on back to school. So we're going to get right into it. And if, again, this is a live show, airing live, but we're not able to respond. So if you have comments, we'll try to get back to them in the comment section. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, become a member of the Llama Nation, hit that bell notification so you know when we post videos. All right, so Mama Llama, welcome to the Big Llama Show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for finally having me on.
That is a big to-do here, is I've had everyone else on except for Mama Llama. So, yes, it's your turn to be on, and hopefully we can do some live stuff, in the mornings, like a little live talk show. We'll see what happens. All right. All right, so the first question I really want to get to, with COVID-19 and the Delta variant, it's a pretty big deal. How does it feel going back to school, to teach kids with the Delta variant ramping up?
It's a little scary. Last year was definitely a trial run, and we survived it, so that's good. This year is a little different. The rules are a little more relaxed. Unfortunately, the Florida isn't really worried about their teachers or children going back to school. So it's a free-for-all right now. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough on the kids. It's tough on the teachers, but I am one of the people that believe that the best place for the kids is at the school, especially where I teach. So I think that they do need to be in school, but I think it could be better handled. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Now, are there any specific, changes that you saw from last year to this year with the new variant, or is it much the same?
As of right now, no one is required to wear a mask. The kids do have to keep socially distanced, but I believe it's only as right now as of 3 feet instead of 6 feet from last year. We are still contact tracing. They can't be around each other more than 15 minutes. So classroom teachers, it's difficult. You have to keep them moving, which we do in the younger grades. I teach elementary school, so we do have centers, and we are continuously moving throughout the day. So that's kind of easy, but I don't know how they're going to handle that in the upper grades.
Okay. So is there anything in particular that parents should do to get their kids prepared for back to school?
If they were in school last year, it's a lot of the same stuff, hand sanitizer. We are sending our children back to school with masks. We feel like they're old enough. They're 13? Yeah, 13 and 17, almost 14 and 18. So that's kind of old. We have talked to them, and they know we feel comfortable that they can make their own decisions on when they should be wearing it and when they shouldn't. But as a parent of an elementary school student, I would send my kid to school prepared with a mask. Like I said, the teachers are taking cautions to keep kids separated, but it's tough in like kindergarten to keep kids separated. So if that's something that you would worry about, I'd definitely send them with a mask. They all survived last year. Everybody was so worried about the kids keeping their masks on, but they did it, and they did it great. They did a really good job. They didn't lose them. They kept them on. We had a couple kids that like to chew on them, so they would get holes in them. It was kind of gross. But we had more masks to give them. I mean, I feel that teachers and schools are really prepared to, take care of these kids and make sure that they learn.
Now, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. This is strictly our opinion. We're not from the CDC. We're not COVID-19 experts. These are the opinions of two parents, and we're just sharing our thoughts with the world. So please, if you want the CDC guidelines, or if you're not sure what your school does, please get in contact with your school. I know that the Big Llama Show doesn't just air, obviously, here where we live. Wherever you live, check with the local school board. Check on what their rules are. Some may have mask mandates, some may not. So again, these are our opinions, and this is us as parents. This is what decisions we've made during this time. So again, it is a difficult time for everybody. Everyone has to make their own decisions. That's what we feel. But we've decided to let our kids go to school, and they're going to have masks. So that's our choice.
And in our district right now, there isn't a mask mandate, but there are some counties in our state that do have mask mandates. So it may change.
Right. So always be on the lookout for those changes. And again, don't just rely on the Big Llama Show for your information for back to school. All right. So how has COVID changed or affected your teaching style or your profession? How has it changed it?
It's changed it a lot. It's made it difficult. I've talked a lot about, in my position right now, I'm a reading interventionist, which I help children that have fallen behind in reading, that need extra support. In teaching children to read, you have to teach them phonics and the letter sounds and how they blend together and things like that. It's difficult to teach a child that. Even in kindergarten, as a kindergarten teacher, you have to teach children this, and a lot through elementary school. It's difficult to teach them that with a mask over your mouth. When I was in the classroom as a kindergarten teacher, a big part of our day was teaching the difference between the sound of and and you would do that by showing your mouth, the way your mouth formed when you made those sounds. And you can't do that with a mask on. It's difficult to show that to the kids. So that's a struggle that we've had, definitely.
Yeah. Now, parental struggle was the virtual school last year for us in homeschooling, which is something we've never done before. And I think everybody was thrust into that as an option. That they had to do virtual school. So I'm not sure if schools in your area will have virtual school. I can tell you my personal preference is that was probably the most stressful and horrendous thing we've done, only because now you have to keep up with the schoolwork, make sure that they're in school, plus going to work, plus doing all those things. So those were just stressful times. If you're still continuing to do virtual school, that there's benefits and positives and negatives to everything. So again, we don't want to just dictate you should do one thing or the other. I just know that sharing it from my perspective.
Well, we had two totally different situations. We had one child that did fantastic at it, and one child that did not.
Right. Some one of our youngest needed the kick in the pants. He needs that boost from the teacher, and seeing in that interaction, left to his own devices as a 13-year-old, he did what 13-year-olds would do, is take advantage of the system and not show up to class and play the games with the Zoom meetings and so on and so forth. So if that's you and you're in that position, we feel your pain. Like I said, we made the choice back to school. I cannot wait. He's excited, but I think I am a little more excited than he is.
Our district didn't have a choice this year. The kids had to go back to school.
Yeah. Okay. So again, maybe your school is maybe that's the thing. You have to go back, or you have to make a decision to do homeschooling on a more permanent basis. That's a tough decision to make. So something pretty serious to wrestle with. So I know COVID is a big deal, and we don't want to get wrapped up in COVID. But as a teacher, what are you most excited about for the upcoming school year? What's something you're looking forward to?
I seen all my little chicken nuggets. I love them all so much. I've been at the same school for 4 years now, so my first kindergarten class at this school is going into 3rd grade.
Oh.
So I love seeing my kids, even kids that I never had. I still see them throughout the years, and I love seeing them on the first day of school. Even at open house, I had kids come see me just to come visit, and it brings me so much joy to see them.
Yeah, my excitement for you guys is that you guys have to go back to school and have to actually do a schedule. So, full disclosure, in my job, I have to work every week, and we take vacations and time off. But I am probably the most grumpy during the summer because they are enjoying the benefits of summer, and I am at work. So for me, I'm looking forward for them to be back in a routine along with me.
I'm sure a lot of husbands and wives can attest to being married to a teacher and having to go through that.
Yes.
You're not the only one.
I know. I figured that. All right. So we talked some pretty heavy topics in terms of COVID. It's, we don't want to make light of it. So we're going to just shift sort of our focus to something a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about school supplies. So, as a kid, and I think I know the answer to this one. As a kid, what was your favorite school supply?
Well, this year I got to rebuy it. Walmart came out with Trapper Keepers again, and it's straight from the 80s, isn't it? It's rainbow colored and cheetah print, and I will 1000% be using it as an adult this year.
I thought it was, so honestly, I thought it was silly, and she was so excited. We went straight to Walmart the minute she found out they were selling them, and I will admit, I was a little jealous that you got the Trapper Keeper because as a youth, I did not have the Trapper Keeper, and for some reason, all my jealousy and school-age rage came back when you opened it, and it had the little planner in it, had the little folder, and the little clippy for your papers. Do
you want one, honey?
I don't want one because
are you going to use it in your job?
No, I won't use it in my job. but so my favorite supply, honestly. I love the highlighters and erasers. I don't know why. I love the good highlighter because the first couple of weeks, so I was not a very good student. So the first couple of weeks, I would be very serious into the studies. I would highlight everything the teacher was saying. I would have the syllabus or whatever they had and highlight everything. But by week 3, I lost the highlighter and all I had was the eraser. But I loved the little school stores that sold the supplies. Now, mind you, broke as a joke, little money that I had, I would go every day and buy a pencil. And if they had those big Husky pencils, I would buy one of those because we've had pencil fights during lunch and after school. I don't know if anyone's that old, remember pencil fights, but if you had the Husky pencil, that's it. You were going to win. There was guaranteed you were going to win. So for me, I
had those in my classroom a couple of years ago. I should have brought them back to you.
You should have. I would challenge the kids to pencil fights. But no, that was my favorite. I love highlighters and erasers, but more than anything, I love the little school store. I felt like they had so much. Now, looking back at it, it's not as magical as I thought it was when I was a kid. But when you're a kid, that was like it. Like whoever was behind the school store was the best person. They're selling you the world. And if they had those Husky pencils, man, they owned everything. And then I think when the book fairs used to come to, and oh God, those book fairs. I would buy posters and books I would never read, by the way. So I don't
think I ever bought books. And now we have the book fair in our school, and the biggest seller are those smelly pencils. Every kid's got that smelly pencil.
Well, I again, with little money I had, I bought whatever I could. So like I was efficient back in the day. I would figure out how much $5 could get you, and I would go maximum. So if it was 5 pencils, 2 books, and a poster, I'm getting the maximum. My bag would be full. But man, that was a big deal. That was a huge deal.
And the first couple of years of our kids having book fairs, I spent a fortune at those book fairs, and then just saw the books laying around. Nope, no more book fairs for them.
Yeah, I don't think I've read. I don't think. Well, unless it was required in class, I don't think I read any of the books that I bought from the book fair.
Our kids maybe read 1 or 2. They got a Star Wars book that I think they both read.
Yeah, you should read the Star Wars book. I mean, you have to learn about Luke Skywalker. So that's school supplies. Now let's talk about the good stuff. The reason that I'm currently the big llama. School lunches and school food. So as a kid, or even now, because I
work the lunch line.
You get to enjoy current school lunch. I do not. But what was your favorite school lunch meal, either now or as a kid?
I have to say the lunch has changed since we were kids.
Yeah.
It's a little different now. A lot of it's not pre-packaged, but a lot of it isn't cooked in the school. A lot of schools, unless you're in an old school, which mine is, and we have a kitchen there, but a lot of schools don't have kitchens anymore. So a lot of it comes already cooked to the school that day. So they don't really have all the best stuff. But last year, I was working the school line. I worked the kindergarten school line and would help the kindergartners get their lunch. And they had true blue 1000% Mexican pizza. Oh. And I came home that day so excited because I had not seen a Mexican pizza in 25 years.
Oh my God, yes.
I was gonna fall out because I was so excited to see that Mexican pizza. Now, did I eat it? No, because I knew the second I would eat it, I would have to run to the bathroom. But it smelled just like it did back in the day.
Oh my God.
It looked like it did. It was not, a real circle. It was like a stop sign shape.
Yeah.
But also currently, my lunch ladies know that I love hush puppies.
Oh God.
So whenever they make hush puppies, I get a handful, and those are delicious.
So,
although, wait, I do have a story for that.
Oh, go ahead.
I had hush puppies last year, and we had to wear masks, and then after I help with the line, I go into the cafeteria and sit and make sure the kids eat their lunch, and then I dismiss them. And I had my hush puppies in my little container, and I pulled my mask out and popped the hush puppy in my mouth and put my mask back, and was eating it and didn't have anything to drink, and I almost choked. And there was no other adult around me, and I was dying.
Oh my God.
But it was delicious.
So I have to say the Mexican pizza was a staple of my favorite day. I can still taste it. I think it's still in the back of my mind. I know exactly what it tastes like. I always wondered why it was Mexican, like a Mexican pizza. It was just yellow cheese versus mozzarella cheese.
No, it might be Mexican cheese.
Maybe, but
I think it's yellow and white cheese. Well, it is now.
But it was always delicious. It was always good. What I liked, but I didn't like was the regular pizza, because that was hit and miss. Like that could either taste like cardboard.
Even now, it tastes like cardboard.
Okay, but sometimes if you had the right lunch lady, then she knows how to cook it right. And so my story, as a youth, I always made friends with the lunch ladies in every school that I went to.
That's because you were so cute.
Well,
little Kenito running around school.
I was still the big llama, just a shorter version of this. So, but I would always talk to the lunch ladies because I was genuinely interested in what they did. I didn't understand that. So mind you, I come from Peru, and when I first came here, I think I was 4 or 5 years old. So I got thrust right into kindergarten in a foreign country to me. And so I was fascinated just by everything. Like, oh my God, you're making all this food. There's so much food. I didn't never seen so much food. But I would always I'd always talk to the ladies. They'd always hook me up. Now, at first, I didn't realize that, and they would give me, oh, Kenito, here, a little extra for you.
And lunch ladies still do that to kids.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was just special, got the extra tater tots. And so, no, it turns out I was a pretty big kid, and they wanted to keep me healthy. But you know what I would do is I was the king of trades. School lunch trades, I had it down. I picked a table right outside the exit to the thing, and I would watch the kids come out. Now, I would never intimidate anybody, but in middle school, I think I was the same size.
Yes.
So I haven't grown since. But I would sit right outside and I'd watch and be, hey, trade you those tater tots for this juice. Or so, and by the end of the lunch period, my whole plate was full of tater tots. I didn't need them all, but and then when I got into high school, now mind you, I grew up on school lunch, so I love it. It's one of my favorite things. But when I got to high school,
Strangely, so do our kids.
I know.
Lucas eats everything at school. It's so weird.
I mean, I loved it. I that's my staple. Now, I grew up on the breakfast, even though those biscuits at breakfast were so dry they could choke you. Mm-hmm. Grew up on that, and the biscuit and sausage was amazing. And then the lunch, but again, when I got to high school, I discovered the salad bar. Our high school had a salad bar.
Our high school had a lot.
Right, and so before I was able to leave campus to buy, ungodly junk food, man, I took it full advantage of a salad bar. There was more bacon bits on my bowl than there was salad, and just drizzled in ranch dressing. I mean, it was amazing that I took a salad was supposed to be healthy and made it so unhealthy. So again, school lunches were my favorite. Mexican pizza, my favorite. Your favorite. Were there any like obscure lunches that you didn't like? Anything that can't fish? I know when they did fish.
Our school has fish all the time.
Oh no, fish.
It's gross.
I don't do filet-o-fish, and I definitely don't do cafeteria school fish. I mean,
But when they have the fish is usually when they have hush puppies, so I have to kind of take it when it comes.
Take it.
You can't share food now, though.
No, you can't. So COVID would have
Even
affected
before
me.
COVID, we didn't let the kids share food.
No, that would have been. I would have.
Because you never know with allergies and all that. You got to be careful.
Oh my God! So I would be in trouble. All right. So as parents, we always try to help out in school, but sometimes as parents, you don't know what you can do. So you as a teacher, what can parents do to either support or help the school, or what ways can they get involved?
Number one, support your child's teacher. Even if she doesn't need it, send things into her. If you can. That's not going to get you, if you can. Offer, to help in any way. It's just, even if she doesn't even need your help, knowing that you asked helps. That means the world to teachers. Most schools have a PTO. Our school is starting PTO this year, and I'm very excited about it. You can get involved that way. Most schools have volunteers that you can come into the. When I didn't work, when I wasn't a teacher, I would go and volunteer at the kids' school all the time. But that's kind of how I ended up in the classroom, because then I went from volunteer to teaching. At our son's school, because we both work full time, we can't really volunteer, and his school requires volunteer hours, 20 volunteer hours a year. Because we both work full time, you're able to send in supplies. They will send out random texts or emails of stuff that a teacher needs, or the school needs, or the PE classes need. And if you send it in with a receipt, you get volunteer hours that way. There are tons and tons of ways to help at a school. First, I would start with your child's teacher, because he or she needs it the most. So I would start with them.
Yeah, and I would say this. I mean, we're very fortunate that we're able to provide supplies for our kids. But I know there are some kids that don't have any supplies. And so I know a lot of the teachers, I know you have spent, I don't know how much money you've spent, but you've spent your own money to not only buy supplies, but to buy things needed in the classroom. So We're lucky that we can do that. I know some teachers don't necessarily have the means to do that, but they want to. So I would say if you're fortunate enough to have a little extra, buy a little extra for somebody, bring it to the school. They could always use the supplies. But yes, check with the teachers first, see what they need. Donate to school supply drives when they have them. If there's
also with your student's teacher, it could be as simple as, her sending papers home with you for you to staple or something to cut out. It does not have to be something that needs to be bought. It could just be helping, something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, I feel very fortunate that we have enough to provide for our own family. But again, we do know that there are families that don't have any. And so it's always good to just give a little bit extra if you can, or your time. But definitely, I would say the biggest thing, and I am so thankful for Mama Llama because she is so involved in their schoolwork, their activities, their schedules. While I handle more of the extracurricular stuff, like their baseball and their other things, being involved in the kid's life and being involved in their education is huge for teachers, and that's what I think you were referring to is just check with the teacher, be involved. That's at the minimum. Like if you can do that for your kid, you're already setting them up for success. If you can do more and help out, even better. So I think that's always good. That's how you can help teachers. Did I miss anything on the teachers?
No, I think that's great. Even if, again, not money, having to buy something as young as kindergarten, do their homework with them. That helps. That enforces everything that we're teaching in school, and it also shows you where your kid is, if they're getting what we're teaching or if they're not. And then that way you can help more at home too. Some people work and they can't, and I understand that too. But it's important to be involved in what your kid's doing at school, just so you know.
All right. So now you've gone through the struggle of being a first-year teacher, a brand new teacher. So what advice would you have to any new teacher that's starting out?
Oh, I just saw a great TikTok today that I wish I could share with everybody about first-year teachers. I would say believe in yourself. You are doing more than you think you are. You think you're drowning, but you're really not. You're making a difference. Like I said, I still have those kids. I just had one of my kindergartners from my first year come up and see me, and her mom remembered me and everything. And I thought my first year was a disaster, but she's doing great. I did it. So believe in yourself. Ask for help. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many teachers come and go because they think they've got it figured out. And I don't know if that's like a generational thing, because I see a lot of young teachers come into school the first year. And I am a person that is willing to help anybody with whatever you need help with. Because I want you to succeed. Kids need good teachers. I want to see people stick around. But a lot of people don't want help. So ask for help. It doesn't show that you're weak. It shows that you're smart, that you know that you don't know something and you need help in it. When I got out of college, I didn't know. I feel like going to school for education, you don't really learn everything until you're in the classroom. They teach it to you and you'll remember, be like, oh, I remember that. But until it's working in front of you and you are able to work through it and see how it all plays out, you don't really know. So ask questions. People are there to help you.
Okay. So this would be your advice to, if you had to time travel back to you, first year you.
Oh gosh,
what would you tell?
I did all that my first year. First year me, I would tell me that I'm going to get through it. That first year was a disaster. Not so much teaching wise. It was just a huge. I went from one side of education to a completely other side of education. So it was a huge wake-up call for me my first year. But I'm still standing 4 years later, so and thriving and loving every second of it. I come home and tell some crazy stories, but there's nowhere else I'd want to be.
Right. And I think the kids, which segues to what I wanted to ask you. I think the kids they'll remember the teachers that really cared, and they remember the teachers. And I have a whole list of them that I can remember. But I'll share that in a minute. Do you have a favorite teacher or someone who you look fondly back on and go, oh my God, that was just that teacher was doing so much more than they needed to. Like, now that you know what it's like to be a teacher, is there anyone that comes to mind?
I have a lot of teachers that stick out to me. We had a teacher in high school, Miss Moon.
Oh yeah.
Who was, I feel like, she just treated us like humans rather than children. Mm-hmm. And I really try, even though my kids are really, really little and young that I teach, I still try to treat them the way she treated us. Not, I expect a lot from my kids. I don't care if you're 5 or 10. You need to have respect. You need to, act like a human. And I feel like she treated us like that. And I'll always remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I will share that Ms. Moon put up with me in her chorus class, and I never sang one note. So if you're watching this, Ms. Moon, I didn't sing one note. When we were in doing the holidays at the airport, I didn't sing one note. I was so embarrassed, Ms. Moon. It had nothing to do. Even now, you can ask Mama Llama. I in the car I sing. But when I can tell,
and he's not bad.
But when I can tell she sees me or like is paying attention, I shut it down. It's just a mechanism. And for some reason, I can do this. I can talk all day long and do this, but I cannot sing in front of anybody. So
why did you join our chorus if you couldn't sing?
Okay, so we're always honest on the Big Llama Show, and I know what the answer is. It was for the ladies. The Big Llama was a bit of a ladies' man in high school.
Side note, Mama Llama was not in the chorus.
No, she was not. So, it was an elective, and the ladies liked one of the I won't say his name, but they liked one of the guys in chorus who played football with me, and I was like, well, if he's doing it, then I'm going to do it. And he actually could sing, and I couldn't. So,
but you can sing.
Well, that remains to be seen, but we'll see. Here's what I want to say is, many teachers have stuck out to me. For me, because they were teachers and coaches. Coaches for me were so beneficial. Coach Val is far and away, and I'm still friends with his son, Frank, and so him and I have kept our friendship going even through Facebook. But Coach Val, I think he did more for me than anybody ever had, and I think the thing I remember about him is that he treated me as his own, just like his son. He would, and I always say I was always, had very little money, and it was true. It's not an exaggeration. My family wasn't very wealthy, and so to do the extracurricular stuff, I couldn't do it because if there were fees or dues, our family didn't have that much money, and my family didn't understand what that meant. So, like Boy Scouts, I couldn't do Boy Scouts, but Coach Val was there and his son, and they paid for me to do that. I later went to high school and played football for Coach Val. And I'm telling you, the greatest experience for me was having all these coaches, and he's treat me like a young man, and tell me that I had a future, and tell me that I had opportunity. So teachers make a huge impact in kids' lives, and so I'm so happy that you're a teacher, and I know that you're reaching and you're touching these kids' lives, and they're going to remember you for a long time. So it's just an amazing thing. All right, so. Again, that's, I wanted to make sure that, because in this channel we do a lot more of nerdy stuff and movies and stuff like that. And recently we've been doing, current events and things like that. But this is an important topic, and this is why the channel exists, for me to be able to get out the messages that are in my head. And this was something that was very, very important. It's back to school. I wanted to make sure that we gave the teachers representation and give them an opportunity. If you're a teacher out there and you like this, hit us up in the comments. Give us your favorite supply. Tell us what your challenges are. We'd love to interact with you. I'll be checking the comment section for that, and I'll be responding. We're going to try to do more segments like this where it's just sort of timely, or if it's just me and Mama Llama just hanging out on a Saturday morning and seeing who's out there, seeing who's on the horizon out there. We'll see what we can do. Any last words or anything before we close this down?
No, have a great school year.
All right, so we do pray for everybody, for the kids, the teachers, the parents, everyone to have a healthy school year. I know everyone's getting ready for school. Ours go back to school on Tuesday. Yours may go back to school either this week or next week. And in some of the northern states, I think it's for another couple of weeks.
They don't go back till like Labor Day. Let's move there.
Well, we have to find jobs first, even though you could probably find a job before me. All right, so a couple of things before we wrap up. One thing is that this, the Big Llama Show, is now a podcast. You can find us on Spotify and anywhere you find, podcasts that are available. I have links in the description. Our Sunday night show is a Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a Sunday night recap of all the current events, the weekend movies, and just random things that come to our mind. And we interact with the subscribers from the Big Llama Show. Very, very fun. It's me and Blackout AD, who is in Colorado. And I kind of look at the dynamics as this, the young man and the old man. So I'm the old man who has the old views, and he's a 20-something, and he is just starting out in the world. So it's kind of a fun dynamic that we have. Make sure to check us out. If you are interested in our podcast, this particular episode will be on a podcast along with all of our Sunday night shows. They're all going to be on podcasts, so they'll be available there. And to help the channel, if you want to support the Big Llama Show, what I need is subscriptions. So please make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, it increases my subscription count in YouTube, and then eventually I can monetize the channel, and then we can do more things with this, more events. So
and share with your friends.
Right, share with your friends. If you like the Mama Llama series and want to see more of Mama Llama.
Yes, all my friends.
So if you want to see more of Mama Llama on the show, hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section.
Maybe he'll let me be on more.
Yeah, so here's how it goes. Productivity equals views equals more Mama Llama. So if you like this interaction, I enjoyed it because, again, this is why the channel was built, was for me to have an outlet, a creative outlet for myself, but more importantly, to work with my family. My sons help with the content. My oldest son, he helps with some of the graphics. Lucas is like an executive producer, or Little Llama is like an executive producer, and he gives show ideas.
Went over your questions today and changed them.
He prepped the show. He actually created the questions to ask today.
He questioned me ahead of time to see what my answers were going to be.
He pre-screens our guests, so he does that. And Mama Llama makes the shirts for me, and she helps out with content. I always bounce ideas off of her. And so again, this is a family affair, and we're hoping to continue to grow it. So if you want to help the channel, hit that subscribe, and then that'll help our channel. If you're listening to this on a podcast, make sure you listen for future podcasts. And there is a donation button on the podcast. You don't have to donate to listen to it. It is free. But if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that as well. All right. So thank you so much for joining me on the Big Llama Show. Thank you, Miss Mama Llama, for joining me. This was a great experience. Lots of fun. You're looking at me like it wasn't fun, but
no,
it was lots of fun.
Glad to finally be here.
Okay, good. So, Mama Llama has arrived. Pretty soon she's gonna have her own YouTube channel, and
I will.
And I'll be kicked out of my spot here.
And maybe we'll ask you to be on.
So okay, no problem. Touche. I get it. I get it. So thank you, Mama Llama, for being here. I'm the Big Llama. This is the Big Llama Show. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
The views and opinions expressed on the Big Llama Show are those of the host and guest. They do not reflect that of our sponsors, advertisers, or employers. Enjoy the show.